Hello? Hello? Sir, your voice is not coming.
My voice is clear.
Yeah, it's clear.
Not yet started. Just 2 minutes. We are going to start.
Okay, okay, fine.
So my voice is clear now.
Yeah,
Start. So we are going to do the workshop on the Windows Server Administration. So before going to discuss about Windows Server Administration, we have to know. So what are the operating systems are available? What is Windows? What is Linux? Why Windows? Why Linux? First of all, you have to know before going to learn any administration part. So Windows is a graphical user interface. Anybody they can easily understand, easy to learn, easy to work. In Windows, we have two types of operating systems: client OS, server OS. So what is client, what is server? Generally, we are going to internet, we are downloading the songs, movies, documents, whatever the requirements we need, we are downloading. From where you are downloading? This is first point. Next one, we are going to some ECAVA centers, we are paying bills. Sometimes they will tell server is down, server is slow. So what is server, what is client? So server provide resources to clients, clients access the resources from server. Now what are the client operating systems in Windows? Latest version is Windows 10, the previous versions Windows 8, 7 and XP. If you come into the server OS, 2019 is the latest, 16, 12, 8, 3, 2000, MP4.0 is the first version of Windows Server, which is released in 1997. After the 2000 year, 2000 version release, 2003, 2003 version release. So every 3 to 4 or 5 years, they will release a new version. So 1997, first version of Windows Server NP4.0. Next 2000 year, Windows Server 2000 they introduced. In the year of 2003, they introduced 2003. The year of 2008, 12, 16. Now Server 19. So why the companies they are using Windows Server? What is the backbone feature of Windows Server? So everybody, because Windows frequently get the viruses. So we have to use, if you want to use any Windows servers, any Windows clients in the production environment or in your individual PCs also, so we are going to install the antivirus software. but still the companies they are going to use the Windows servers. Why? Because it is a graphical user interface. So everybody they can easily understand, easy to work and easy to learn. But in Windows servers, we have a main backbone feature is there, that is Active Directory Domain Services. It means centralization of administration. For example, in 10 years back, 15 years back, if we have a bank account in particular area, for example, I am telling, I have a bank account in Vijayawada. So if I deposit the money, I have to go to the Vijayawada, I have to go to my branch, I have to deposit the money. But nowadays, we are in centralized environment, centralized banking system. So if I am in Hyderabad, if I am in Mumbai, if I am in Chennai, I can go to my branch office of my bank account, ICICI or whatever it may be, SBI. I can deposit the money. So this is centralized. In earlier days, this centralization of administration is not available. And also, you can go to any ATM counter, you can withdraw the money. So whenever you withdraw the money, automatically it will update. Immediately you can get the message. So you withdraw, your account is debited or credited, some of the ATM, 5,000, 2,000, 1,000, whatever it may be. So how it is possible? Because of centralization of administration, everything is centralized. For that centralization of administration purpose, we are going to use the Windows servers. So there is a powerful database in Windows Server, that is powerful database than Oracle database, that is Active Directory database. Active Directory domain services, centralization of administration. But other operating systems like Linux and Solaris, IBM AX, HP Unix, these Unix flavors also centralization of administration is there, but not like Windows. Windows is a centralized hierarchical structure is there. Those are flat. Flat means only one domain they will support, not to forest level domains, not to tree structure of domains will not support by Linux operating systems. So they are using their operating systems for managing the valuable database. That is different scenario. But in Windows, a forest level domain environment we can manage. So forest level, what is forest? Forest is nothing but a collection of trees. So collection of domains we can configure on Windows server environment. So for example, there is a main domain controller, so which is a forest domain, india.com. For example, you can take the example of our country, india.com, central government or whatever it may be. So that is the main domain controller who can manage all the states. So in India, we have number of states. Like example, ap.india.com, telangana.india.com, orissa.india.com, madhya pradesh.india.com, maharashtra. Like that. We have, those are called child domains. This is the main domain controller. Under main domain controller, we can configure child domain controllers. Again, if you take the Telangana, for example, state, we have number of districts like hyderabad.telangana.india.com. So main domain controller, child domain controller, subdomain, grandchild domain controller. Again, in Hyderabad, we have number of areas like Amirpet, Himayatnagar, Narayangoda, whatever it may be, Kokatpalli, so many areas are there. So those are again grandchild domain controllers. So Amirpet dot Hyderabad dot Telangana dot India.com. This much of tree domain structure supports by Windows servers. That is the reason for centralization of administration, forest level domains, and tree structure of domains. We are going to use Windows servers, and also the softwares, the products which supports from only Microsoft, like Microsoft SharePoint, Microsoft Office 365, Microsoft SQL Server. We have so many products from Microsoft. .NET, so Visual Basic, Visual C++, Visual Basic. So number of Microsoft Azure, so Hyper-V, whatever it may be, whatever the products from Microsoft. So you must have the Windows servers. So that is the reason the companies they are going to use the Windows servers, because of the powerful concept on backend, Active Directory domain services, centralization of administration, and also the products which supports from the Microsofts, we have to use the Windows servers. So this is main. Anybody ask you the why the companies they are using Windows servers means we have to give only one answer. It is a powerful concept is there. Background there is Active Directory domain services, centralization of administration, centralized domain system. Centralized it will manage all the users, computers, networks, and databases, applications in from one location. That is nothing but a domain controller. So this is the reason we are going to use the Windows servers. So whatever the servers you configured, so we have to add the clients. Like those are called Windows clients, domain servers. So what are the scenarios we are going to learn in Windows Server? So I will explain the syllabus because we have to understand what we are going to learn. So installation of Windows Server OS. Generally, everybody they will install the operating system. Who knows installation, but they don't know about the device names, disk names. But in Windows, it is not required to know the disk names. But whenever you are entering into the company environment, production environment, you must know the logical device name of hard disks. So without knowing the disk names, we cannot work on some technologies like RAID levels, SCSI drives, storage environment. You cannot work because you have to understand about the disk names. For example, I will show you the logical device name of hard disk in Windows. So you can go for my computer, click on manage. See whatever the peripherals we attach it to our system, whether it is Windows or Linux or Solaris, it provide two device names. One is logical device name, second one is physical device names. Logical device names are understood by administrator. Physical device names are understood by server, kernel. Kernel understand physical device names. Administrator can understand logical device names. So I want to know what is the logical device name of hard disk in Windows. So generally somebody they will give the answer logical device names like C drive, D drive, E drive. These are the drives. So these drives in which disk you created, what is the disk name? That is important. So logical device names are important in some technologies like RAID levels, storage environment. So C drive, D drive, E drive we created. Where you created? What is the disk name? That is important. So I can have in real time scenarios my servers. I can have multiple disks. So 8 disks, 16 disks, 20 disks, 24 disks, depending upon my server capacity, I can attach the disks. But what are the names of the disks? So without knowing the disks, we cannot do some configurations. So that is the reason I'm showing the logical device name of hard disks. So go to disk management. So here click on disk management. It shows now how many disks you have, what are the names of the disks, how many drives you created. It will display. So it will take some time. It accessing the disks. See here, disk 0. This is the logical device name of hard disk. In disk 0, you created C drive, D drive, E drive. If I added another disk 1, so I can create another drives. Disk 2, disk 3, disk 4, like that I can add the disks. So these are the logical device names. So disk 0, basic disk, online, it is 1 terabyte disk. This is the CD-ROM 0, our DVD drive name. DVD F drive, no media is connected to your DVD. Like this. As a administrator, we have to know everything. So sometimes in interview they will ask the question, tell me about logical device names in Windows. So even some administrator they cannot understand what are the logical device names. So here we can see the disk names. If I insert any another disk, it shows disk 1, 500 GB. Again, I can create the partitions like this. So before going to installation of Windows Server, so I will explain what are the device names, how the hard disk will support the partitions. By default, hard disk will support how many primary, how many extended. By default, Windows Server supports or Windows, not server, either client also. Windows will support how many primary, how many extended, what is the disk partitions, everything we are going to discuss. Then after installation, IP addressing and logical topologies. What are the IP addressing classes we have? What are the IP addressing topologies? What are the network topologies? We are going to discuss. So by default, any server you installed or any client you install Windows, they are in work group only. So how do you know whether system is domain client or work group? You can go to my computer, go to properties. So here you can check work group equal to work group. By default, if it is server OS or client OS, when you install the operating system, initially they are in workgroup only. But in server environment, so the server operating system, we can promote as a domain controller. That is coming to the administration part. By default, every operating system from Windows, whether it's client or server, by default they are in workgroup model only, not in domain model. So as a Windows administrator, we are going to promote our Windows server operating systems which we installed on our company or our network. We can promote as a domain controllers. So those the things we are going to discuss. What is Active Directory? What is the purpose of Active Directory? So which information stores in Active Directory? How to configure your Windows server as a domain controller? How to promote your Windows server as a domain controller? So we are going to discuss everything. Then after configuration of domain controller, how to add your Windows client to the domain. So client operating systems, just now I discussed, we have two types of operating systems, client OS, server OS. How to add client to the domain? How to add your server to the domain? So we can have client systems, we can have servers also, server OS, client OS. So I can add the server OS to the domain controller. I can add also client OS to the domain controller. So when you add server OS to the domain controller, Active Directory, it is a member server. When you add client OS to the domain controller, it is a member client. So how we are going to add? After configuration of one server as a domain controller, how to add the client OS to the domain, how to add the server OS to the domain. So why we are going to add the domain controller, we are going to discuss. And user management. So user management. So whenever you are working with your company or whenever you are logging to your laptop, you must have a user account. Without a username, we are not unable to log into our laptops or desktops, whatever operating system you are using. So where this user's information stores, where the user home directories are stores. For example, in Windows, all the user home directories are located under My Computer, C drive. You see, there is a folder users. Like, so every user, how many users I created for their names, automatically it will create the folders. So nobody can access other users folder. Permission denied message will come. So here we are going to discuss user management. So before going to configuration of Active Directory, we are going to discuss how to configure the local users, how to create the local users, how to manage the local users, how to check the local users means work group environment I am discussing. So once you configured your Windows server as a domain controller, up to now, whatever the users or groups you created in your workgroup computer, they are automatically converted as a domain users. So a domain user can log on from any computer to the domain. Local users can only log in from the particular local computer. So first we are going to discuss about local user management. Next we are going to discuss about the domain user environment. Next, permissions. Permissions already folder level permissions we can give in Windows. Right click on the folder. For example, AWS folder is there. I want to share with specific people. So everyone add. I want to give read write permission everyone. So I can share it. Like how to share the folders. What are the permissions we can apply? We are going to discuss. And user profiles. So profile is nothing but a user environment files. Like that, if you log into computer automatically it create one local profile. So how to check your profiles? You can go to search command, go to control panel. I want to check profile, my profile here. Go to search here. Advanced user profiles, or else you can type user profiles. User profiles. Control panel, search command, can type. So here configure advanced user profile properties will come. Here you can check. By default, we are in the local profile. See, profile type. This is the username. Type of profile is local. Status is local. So every user has a profile. So when you log on to the computer, automatically system will create your profile. So in your profile, which information stores? You can go to my
Sir,
computer. Yeah, tell me.
sir, any shortcut key which is used for the open a control panel?
Yeah, we can use
If you
control
if
panel.
no, if I don't want to put the complete name on a search box, so any command for open a control panel directly, because actually when we work for any big organization, the control panels multiple times has been putting and search over there. That is not little bit complicated. That's why I want to know.
Yeah. I will tell all those things next in our classes. How to open from the command prompt, I will tell you. Okay.
Okay,
This
okay.
is just demo class I am giving. So everything disk
Hmm.
mgmt.mc. So if, for example, in real times you cannot have my computer option icon on the desktop.
Yeah,
So how to open the
yeah.
disk management control panel? Here I given right click manage. I opened disk management.
Hmm.
Okay, but real times this icon cannot appear to you. But how to open? I will give the
Yeah.
commands. Everything while discussing, I will give the commands to you. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
So like this. Here you can, what is user environment means? So my computer, you can go to my computer, go to C drive, go to users. So here click on the username. So here all the users information stores. If you open the user related documents, desktop items and profiles. So everything it will display. Next permissions already we discussed profiles. So file server resource manager, there is a new concept which is introduced from the server 2012. File server resource manager means assigning the quotas to the users. In real time scenarios, we can have the user home directories. So I can give 500 GB space to the users. So maybe 50 users or 40 users are there. They are having the home directory, but only one user can having 100 GB or 150 GB of the space unnecessarily. So as a Windows Server administrator, you have to restrict the user to use this much of space only. For example, you can take our uh, uh, Gmail account. So we can have only 15 GB is the limit, for example. So when you reach your 15 GB of the space, new mails will not come into your system. So you have to delete unnecessary mails, or you have to buy the space from the Google people. Like that, as a Windows Server administrator in real-time environments, so you have to restrict the users to use unlimited space on the home directories and drives. Home directories are nothing but in drives only we are going to provide the home directories. And also, I can restrict the users. You cannot copy audio files, you cannot copy video files, you cannot execute .exe files, you cannot create bitmap image files. So file screening. So I can make it file screening. I can apply file screening environment. So don't use this type of files. You can use only this type of files. Only you can open text file. You can write any information. Any different folders, different types of files you cannot use. That permissions also added into FSRM. And also fine screen auditing and storage screen auditing. So I can add it for any user. For example, there is a user, Rahul is there. So as a Windows Server administrator, I can get the storage report of Rahul user. How much space I given to him, how much he utilized. I restricted him to these files, but he tried to create that file, but he is failed. That information I can get. So all this combination of quotas, file screening, storage reports is nothing but a FSRM, file server resource manager. And also next, see here we can see generally in server environment, you can open, right click D drive, properties. See there is option quota is there. So show quota settings. This is before Windows Server 2012. We applied the quotas like this: enable quota management, deny disk space for user exceeding quota limit, limit the disk space to 100 MB, 1 KB or 2 KB. Like that, we applied quotas before the version of 2000. Up to 2008, we given the quotas. Like here also, we can give the quotas, but quotas only can apply on the NTFS file systems. We cannot apply on the FAT file systems. So in older versions, we have the FAT file system. Nowadays, NTFS, every operating system. Here also, we can apply the quota. In your laptop also, you can create one user account. You can apply the quota against that user. But here, server 2000 onwards, they introduced the FSRM. The quota management also they introduced into, they added into FSRM. Next to organization unit and distributed file systems. So organizational units. Organizational units are nothing but, for example, we have a large company. We can have so many departments in our domain control environment. So there is a thousands of users, thousands of departments. So you cannot apply the specific permissions on the particular department, because individually you can go for each and every user, each and every group, manually apply particular user. 100 users I have, I cannot go for all 100 users properties. I cannot apply the policies. Then what I can do, I can create one OU. OU is a collection of users, computers, particular department, sales OU, AWS OU, managers OU, team leaders OU. So I can manage different departments as a one organizational unit. So I can apply the permissions on that. It will apply on the particular organizational unit. So how to create organizational units, and how to manage organizational unit, and how to give the delegation control. Delegation control means in real-time environments, by default, the company people will not allow you to give the direct administrator privileges. So they will create one normal user account by using our name. So they can assign some privileges to you. So for example, your work is, you are not going to manage entire server, whatever the services are available. So you can restrict some privileges only. So disk management, you can only manage the disk. Backup and restore, your task. Only you are having the permissions on backup and restore. And domain controller management, that permission only they will give. That is called delegation control. So delegation control is nothing but assigning the system administrator privileges to the normal users. The concept in Linux is called sudo users. In Solaris is called RBAC, role-based access control. In AWS, IAM, identity access management. Say simply, no server, no company will provide the complete administrator privileges when you join a company. So I can have so many services. So I cannot give all the permissions, all the control to you. For example, I am showing, this is my Windows server. So I am logging to my server. So already this is a domain controller. I am logging to my server. So here I can have number of features, number of services, number of tasks. So I cannot give the administrator privilege to you, administrator password to you. So I can create one normal user account to you. So I will give some permissions to you, manage the domain environment, manage sites and services, manage Active Directory users, manage computer management, and manage group policies. Like that, I can divide the policies. I can assign the policies to you. That is nothing but a delegation control, assigning the administrative tasks to the normal users. Next to distributed file system. So distributed file system is introduced from Windows Server 2008 DFS concept. So I have a 50 servers. All the 50 servers, they are sharing their folders. So each and every server, they are sharing their folders. Everybody will confuse. That is the reason I can take one server, maybe it is domain server or member server. I can configure distributed file system. So distributed file system, we can create one namespace, centralized namespace. So all the 50 folders who shared from different locations, I can put it on a centralized location. So then all the remaining systems, they can access my namespace. So whatever the folders they required, they can access. So this is a centralized point of the shared folders, 100 folders, 200 folders. I can make it one centralized point. So you can access that centralized point. You can access your all folders. That is distributed file system. It is a online sharing the data from a centralized location in Windows Server administration. Next, logical structure of Active Directory. So domain controller, additional domain controller, child domain controllers, grandchild domain controllers. We are going to discuss in logical structure of Active Directory and roles of Active Directory. So we have FSOM roles are there, flexible single master operation roles. Whenever, if we want to, for example, I am telling this is the server manager. So this is the command netdom query fsmo flexible single master operation roles. So 5 roles we have: schema master, domain naming master, PDC, primary domain controller, relative ID, pool manager, infrastructure master. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 roles we have. The server which is having these roles, this is domain controller. So interview point of view, they will ask the question. So I have thousands of servers, I have thousands of computers are there. I am accessing my domain controller. I have child domain controllers. I have different domain servers are there. How do I know which is the main domain controller? Run the command. The server which are having 5 roles, FSM roles, that is the main domain controller. So how do you know? netdom query fsmo. It shows windows server.3.uk.com. This is the main domain controller. So like this, we can have some commands to know FSM roles. So if I want to make it, for example, I have 2 servers here. This is another server. So I want to make it this server as a main domain controller, this main domain controller as an additional domain controller. How to do it? So then we can transfer the roles from main domain controller to additional domain controller. So these are the roles of Active Directory. So we are going to discuss what is schema master, what is infrastructure master, what is PDC emulator, what is RAD master. Then we are going to transferring the roles. If main domain controller is down, crashed, additional domain controller, I have a server. How to make my additional domain controller as a main domain controller? Seizing the roles. So transferring the roles, seizing the roles. Next, group policies. The main concept in Windows Server, the main concepts in Windows Server is group policies. So by using group policies, we can restrict, you can control thousands of systems. I want to make it my computer, I can hide the my computer icon on all the computers. It will hide. Task manager, hide it. Network icon, hide it. Recycle bin, hide. Not only these 3 or 4, you can now thousands of policies are there. So as a Linux administrator, depending upon the company's policy, we can go to the tools, we can go to the group policy management. Here there is option group policy management, thousands of policies we have. So depending upon requirement, you can apply the policies. So you can apply the policies on OU level, you can apply the policies on domain control level, you can apply the policies on domain level, you can apply the policies on sites and services. So those we are going to discuss how to apply the policies. See, default domain policies we can apply. So default domain control policy you can apply. On OUs you can apply the policies, and sites and services also we can apply the policies. So already here we applied some files. Hide computer icon. Applied on default domain policy. In this domain it will hide computer icon. Auditing policy. I can audit who is deleted particular user. I can configure audit policies. On sales OU. So remove recycle bin. Log on script policies. Software deployment policies. Folder redirection policies. Like this, thousands of policies we can apply. So those things we are going to discuss on our group policy management. Next, trusted relationship between the domains. Like we have a Gmail account. As a Gmail account holder, you are able to send a mails to Yahoo. As a Yahoo account holder, you are able to send a mail Gmail. But Gmail is the different domain. Yahoo is the different domain. But we are able to send mails to each other because of domains and trusts. Trusted relationship between the domain. As a Gmail account holder, you can able to send a mail to me. As a account to account mail holder, I can able to send a mail to you. This is domains and trusts. So here we are going to set up. There is a uk.com, there is a india.com. I have my two offices are they are together. They want to work with together. Then go to tools. So here go to Active Directory domains and trusts. So I can make trusted relationship here. So uk.com, right click, go to properties. So trusts. See here, I am trusting with india.com. So incoming trust, outgoing trust, incoming trust. They can able to log in my server, my users they can log into their servers. So like this, how to configure trusted relationship between the servers, we are going to configure. One-way trust, two-way trust, and incoming trust, outgoing trust. Like this. Next, global catalog sites and services. So Active Directory sites and services. So sites and services is nothing but I have a India site. My company having different branch office across the world. One is in US, one is in UK, one is in India, one is in New Zealand, one is in Australia, one is in Singapore. So every site has a different subnets. But how these different subnet domains can communicate in the network, how they can replication their data. So we are going to configure sites and services, different geographical locations, offices. I can connect to by using the Active Directory sites and services. Here we can go to the tools. There is option Active Directory sites and services. Click on tools, go to Active Directory sites and services. Here I can set up India, UK, US, New Zealand, whatever it may be. Depending upon the requirement, we can configure the sites and services. So everything we are going to see here. So Active Directory sites and services. So click on this. Here see India site is there, UK site is there. So both sites, we have India servers. We have India server is now not available. It is shut down. So here how many sites? UK sites. These are UK sites. Like that, we can configure the sites and services. Next, DHCP server, so dynamically assign the IP addresses to the clients. Everybody knows. So DHCP, dynamic host control protocol. We are mobile having also DHCP IP addresses. Every mobile in real-time environment, only servers, production environment server only manual IP addresses. Remaining all the systems can have DHCP IP address. DHCP IP addresses for clients. So production environment, all the servers can have the manual IP addresses, static IP addresses. So here we are going to discuss how to set up the DHCP server in Windows Server environment. So DNS, domain name service, it provides the name resolutions. Without a domain name service, we cannot access your website. When the DNS server is down, you cannot access your website. So you are typing www.flipkart.com, site is opening. Sometimes you can see the error, DNS not resolved, means DNS server down. DNS provides the name resolution, names to addresses and addresses to names. Next, IIS, Internet Information Service, configuring the websites in Windows Server. FTP, File Transfer Protocol, downloading and uploading the files. WDS, Windows Deployment Services, how to install number of Windows operating systems through network. So my company has a project is there. That project require 40 Windows 10 servers, 10 systems, Windows 10. So they bought a new hardware. I want to install Windows 10 on 40 systems. Manually, I cannot go for each and every system. I cannot put the DVD or USB drive, cannot install. So I will set up one Windows server as a Windows deployment software service, Windows deployment services. Automatically, they will boot from the network. They can connect my Windows server. Automatically, my DHCP give the IP address to the clients. Installation process will start. Like software deployment services. So I have a MS Office software. I want to install MS Office on all 100 computers or 150 computers or Microsoft SQL Server or antivirus software, any software. So bulkly I want to install on the many clients. So you can configure software deployment service. So this is for OS installation. WDS means operating system installation. Software deployment means software's installation purpose, centralizedly. So routing and remote access we are going to discuss. So how to communicate private subnet to public subnet, how to access your private web server, your private database server to public website. So these configurations we are going to do in the routing and remote access services. So ISKC and storage and Windows Server backups, how to take the backup of your Windows Server drives. So these are the concepts we are going to discuss. This is the entire server Windows Server 2006 administration we are going to discuss. So if anybody having doubts, please ask me. Is there any doubts? Akash Tiwari, do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Nandakumar?
No.
PK Muntu?
No, sir.
No, sir. Vinay Rao? Vinay Rao, do you have any doubt? So tomorrow we are going to discuss what are the logical device naming conventions and how to install the Windows Server. What are the primary partitions? What are the extended partitions? After installation of Windows Server, how to create new partitions? So this Windows Server environment, how to set up, tomorrow class we are going to discuss. Tomorrow session.
Sir, what is the time for tomorrow class?
Same time.
Same time with the
Batch
same link?
same link. So batch time will
Okay.
change next Monday onwards, but this workshop only this is the time. So batch time will change next
Okay.
week. They will change. Once you decided to join, so we are going to schedule the batch time. Maybe it's 7 o'clock, maybe or
7
morning,
o'clock in the evening?
night or morning.
No, the,
Which
yeah,
time is
morning
possible?
is better.
This time
Morning
is
is
which
better
time?
for me.
So morning, morning means time
Morning, you can be scheduled on before 8 o'clock because my office timing is on 9:30.
9:30 means I have 9 to 8 to 9. One class is there. 9:30 to 10:30, 11:30. Four classes are there.
Sir, is
Morning.
that possible to 7 to 8
7 to 8 not possible because so morning
in the
7 to
evening?
7. So in the evening 7 o'clock.
No, in the evening 8 to 9.
Evening 8 to 9 Linux patch already scheduled today only.
Oh.
So we can think first once depending upon so today Linux batch scheduled 8 o'clock. So
Mhm.
we will convert the batch. It's 8 to 7 Linux, maybe 8 to 9 Windows. No problem. That is not a problem. Uh, so once
Okay,
we decided, we can change the timings. No problem.
okay, fine, sir. Thank
Okay.
you, thanks for.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Nandakumar, you required which time?
I am good with 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. 7, 8.
8 also, 8 me, yeah, because I am in outside of India. So 8 means it
Okay.
is around, yeah, it is okay for me. It is okay for
Okay.
me.
Okay. No problem. Yeah. Yeah. We'll decide. Okay. So tomorrow, same link you have to log in. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, sir.